Welcome to another Cardano update. So as you can see, we got another low in the second wave move down right here. And if you watched my previous video, you would not be surprised. I told you that this looks like an ABC structure. And yeah, we are very close to that 0.786 support level. And we are also very close to being oversold on the 4-hour RSI, which leads me to believe that after we get another low right here, we will start bouncing and we will get the third wave move. Now keep in mind, to stay bullish, we have to stay above this low right here. So we kind of have to stay above, let's say, 31.5 cents. And I'll say I do not want to see Cardano get below the 0.786 support level. And in my opinion, it's not going to go below that level because, like I said, we're oversold. Well, almost oversold. So usually when we get to the oversold territory, we start going up, at least in the short term. So yeah, that's what happens with this. Now, before I talk about this dead wave chart, I actually want to talk about Bitcoin for a second, because I believe what's happening on the Bitcoin chart is also important right now. So as you can see, we went from about $73,000 to about $67,000. And we went from being extremely overbought on the 4-hour to now almost being oversold. And if you can remember, when we were down here and down here, I told you that we got oversold here, and I told you that there is potential for Bitcoin to go up in the short term. And what do you know? It went up in the short term. And I mean, this could have been a good long position. I think we'll get another one very, very soon, because like I said, usually when Bitcoin gets to the oversold territory on the 4-hour, it gets a pump. It got one right here. It got one right here. It even got one right here, but of course we got another low after that. And then you can continue with this. We got another one right here. As you can see, we were at about 52K and we pumped to about 66K. So yeah, like I told you, Bitcoin will most likely get to about 100K by the end of the year, and I believe that pump will start very, very soon. I believe we will be at new all-time highs in maybe a couple of days. Now, of course, this could be a 1-2 setup and not a 1-2-1-2 setup, but in my opinion, it's a 1-2-1-2 setup. But if there is a 1-2 setup, then there is the potential that we drop to like 64K or so before we start reversing. But even so, I mean, that would still be good in my opinion, and don't forget, we're still respecting support levels. I mean, I don't have them on the chart, but as you can see, we did not invalidate any kind of structure, so we are fine right now. Now, if you cannot remember what we're doing here, let me actually label this so it's easier to understand. So after we got this AB structure right here, we formed another AB structure, and right now we are working on the C wave of that C wave now that we changed the color to something else. Alright. And yeah, right now we are working on the 1-2-3 setup of the C wave, and the third wave of the C wave, of the third wave needs to get to about $80,000. Now, of course, this could turn into something entirely different, but for now, I still believe we will get to about $80,000 very, very soon. Now, I don't think it's necessary to have this ABC structure on the chart, but I will keep it just in case someone wants to know what is happening right now. And of course, I could put another A-B structure on the chart, but you know, there's no point in doing that right now. I believe we have way too many already, so yeah. Also, keep in mind, we had a cross on the 4-hour, and usually when we get a cross on the Bitcoin chart, I mean, if you can remember this from my previous videos, if you did watch my previous videos, here when the green line of the bull market support band went above the red line, Bitcoin went from about $35,000 to a new all-time high. And if you continue with this, I mean, you could theoretically go all the way back to like 2013 and similar things happen. I mean, let's actually do that. If we go here, for example, as you can see here, after we had a cross and after the green line went above the red line, the price went from about $14 or so to about $300. And if we look at 2017, here for example we had a cross and the price went from $200 to about $500, and of course you can continue with this for as long as you want, and I don't want to talk too much about this, but basically when the green line goes above the red line, that's when we get a pump, and right now we're just having a cross, which could mean that something very bullish is about to happen. I also want to talk about Bitcoin dominance. As you can see, Bitcoin dominance actually got above the 0.618 expansion, but he has to keep in mind that we are overbought on the daily, and we are also overbought on the weekly, and almost overbought on the monthly as well. As you can see, we are very close to getting to the overbought territory. And don't forget, last month I did say that it is possible to get another high in November, because that's what we did in the previous cycle, if you can remember. So here we were going down in September and October, and then yes, we did close a red wick in November, but as you can see, during that month, we actually put in another high before we got that correction. So yeah, that's not really surprising, and it does look like we are just copying what I did over there. Now, like I said, it's very difficult to say what will happen during December, but I'm still expecting some kind of correction on the Bitcoin dominance chart in November, because as I have told you many times already, Bitcoin dominance went down in November every single year for the past 9 years or so, so of course it's going to go down this month as well. Also keep in mind, Bitcoin dominance has never been to the overbought territory on the monthly chart, so once we get there, I think that's when we actually top. And if we get there in the next couple of days, then that's when we will most likely top, in my opinion. Now, going back to the Bitcoin chart, I told you that we are about to get a pump, and I still think that we'll get a pump soon. And honestly, if we start a pump right now, maybe that would actually make the Bitcoin dominance chart go down, and that would mark the top for Bitcoin dominance. Maybe the altcoins will start outperforming Bitcoin right now. Now, that's just speculation. I don't know if that will happen. It could be that Bitcoin goes to new all-time highs and it continues to overperform altcoins, and then after it gets to these extensions right here, when it goes down in this fourth wave move down, the altcoins do not follow it, and then when it goes up in the fifth wave, that's when the real altcoin season happens. And honestly, that could take another month or two, so yeah, we'll see what happens with that. Now, if we go on the Cardano chart, like I said, it's not surprising what's happening right here, and I'm still expecting another low to maybe about 32.6 cents. I mean, that's the 0.786 support value. If we get below that level, like I said, it's very likely that we get another B-wave low. And I don't think we can afford to get another B-wave low because, as you can see, we are already very close to invalidating this A-B structure. And if we want to stay bullish, we kind of have to stay above, let's say, 30.2 cents. If we get below that level, that would invalidate the A-B structure. And that would give us another low in this second wave move down right here, which would be okay as long as we actually hold this second wave. But keep in mind, if we get to about, let's say, 30 cents, it's going to be very likely that we drop below this low as well, and we form another low in the main second wave move down. Now, I don't know if that will happen. Honestly, I don't think so, because like I said many times, Bitcoin does not really go down in Q4, and if Bitcoin does not go down, then Cardano is most likely not going to go down. So yeah, I don't think that will happen, but if it does happen, it would not be the end of the world because, you know, we're still kind of far away from that 22 cents level, which is the invalidation point for the 1-2 setup that we started all the way back in June of last year. So, you know, I'll also keep in mind, Cardano is still below the bull market support band, but it had a cross a couple of months ago, almost 2 months ago, actually almost 3 months ago. And if you can remember what we did in the previous cycle, after we had a cross in a 1-2 setup, which was right here, as you can see, yes, at first we did absolutely nothing for a few months, but then all of a sudden we started pumping, and it's very likely that we do the exact same thing in this cycle. Now, don't forget, yes, we are in a similar looking 1-2 setup to the one that we had right here, but this did not happen during any halving year. The 1-2 setup that we got during the halving year was actually this right here, and even so, I mean, here we also had a cross. Well, actually, here we had a cross. And as you can see, after we had the cross, that's when the real altcoin season started. Now, keep in mind, in the previous cycle, Cardano went up about 100% in November. So if we want to follow what we did over here, then we have to start getting a pump right now. Well, not right now, but in the next couple of weeks, because if you can remember, in the first 2 weeks of November, in the previous cycle, Cardano did absolutely nothing. It started pumping after Bitcoin dominance started going down. So if Bitcoin dominance continues to go up, then yeah, we will not get a pump on the Cardano chart. But if it starts going down, which is very likely right now, then we might get to about, let's say, 50 cents by the end of the month. and maybe $1 by the end of the year if Bitcoin gets to about 100K. And like I said, I'm still expecting Cardano to top somewhere between the 1.618 extension right here and the 2.618 extension, so somewhere between $5.30 and about $8. And I expect that to happen sometime next year, let's say between March or April to, let's say, June or July. Probably not earlier and probably not later than that. So yeah. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, check out our YouTube memberships and our Patreon if you want to support the channel, and if you want extra thought about charts, like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.